From my research in this debate process, my sources have shown that ASL is more beneficial than oralism to deaf people, especially when it comes to development. DeafChildren.org states that deaf and hard of hearing children who acquire ASL at a young age perform better academically, understand more English, and often have better skills for organizing, maintaining attention, and inhibiting impulses.
My group strongly believes that ASL should be implemented into the lives of those who are deaf. The importance ASL contains is very significant to the growth and to the strengthening of the deaf community. ASL is a main factor of what is known today as deaf history. The deaf community has gone through thick and thin. They have experienced discrimination, setback, hindrances that was uncalled for and still is to this day. Continuing to include ASL in their lives will benefit not only the deaf community, but also those who are hearing and who wish to communicate with them in a way that gives honor onto their culture.
The first few years of a child's life are critical for brain development and language formation. So when a child is deaf, their brain has a harder time collecting language input. When this language exposure is blocked out of a child's life for those critical years of development, a child can develop language deprivation, which can set them back behind other kids their age in school. But the use of ASL can fill that gap because it creates a foundation of language and connection. Though ASL is extremely beneficial for deaf children in terms of schooling, there are also other benefits to learning ASL that can affect other areas of life. Learning ASL for any child can help build confidence by learning a new language. It can be good for the brain in terms of critical thinking, memory, and more, and it brings empathy and inclusion into a child's life because it allows for a positive attitude and understanding towards other cultures and social or other people.
Oralism does not have to be the only way that deaf children can bond with their hearing families. The hearing family members should consider learning sign language to communicate with the deaf child if they are aware of how much frustration and loneliness this will remove from the child's life. They should be willing to learn ASL. Usually, public schools actually do not make the deaf students feel more confident. In most cases, the deaf child may feel outcasted or as though they are unable to communicate with their peers. The deaf student may fall behind and doubt themselves if they cannot grasp onto oralism as the hearing students do. This can be avoided with deaf schools and schools where deaf children are allowed to use their native language to communicate with others in their community.